representative of the people. I want people to know the relationship and know more about you. What is the relationship, Mr. President?
Well, I respect him. I've always respected him. I never knew that he was right on certain things, and I'm usually pretty good at this stuff. He did Starlink. He did things that were so advanced and nobody knew what the hell they were. I can tell you in North Carolina, they had no communication. They were wiped out. Those people were, they had rivers in between. Land that never saw water, all of a sudden there was a river and a vicious, like rapids. People were dying all over. They had no communication. They said, "Do you know Elon Musk?" They didn't really know I knew him. I said, "Yeah." He said, "Could you get Starlink?" It's like the first time I ever heard of it. I said, "What's Starlink?" A communication system. That's unbelievable.
I have it.
Yeah. And he said, I called him and I said, "Listen, they really need it." And he got like thousands of units of this communication, and it saved a lot of lives. He got it immediately, and you can't get it. I mean, you have to wait a long time to get it. But he got it to him immediately, and I said, "That's pretty amazing," and I didn't even know he had it. We watched the rocket ships, and we watched Tesla. I think, something that had an effect on me was when I saw the rocket ship come back and get grabbed, like you grab a beautiful little baby. You grab your baby. It just...
Hug the rocket.
I've never seen...
Everything needs a hug, including rockets.
And he said, you can't really have a rocket program if you're going to dump $1 billion into the ocean every time you fly. You have to save it.
Right.
And he saved it. First time that I've ever seen that done. And nobody else can do it. If you look at the U.S., Russia, or China, they can't do it. And they won't be able to do it for a long time. He has the technology. So you learn, I wanted somebody really smart to work with me in terms of the country, a very important aspect, because, he doesn't talk about it. He's actually a very good businessman. And when he talks about the executive orders, and this is probably true for all presidents, you write an executive order and you think it's done. You send it out. It doesn't get done. It doesn't get implemented. They don't implement it. Maybe they're from the last administration, and they are in some cases. You try and get them out as fast as you can. But as soon as he said that, I said, that's interesting. You write a beautiful executive, and you sign it, and you assume it's going to be done, but it's not. What he does is he takes it, and with his 100 geniuses, he's got some very brilliant young people working for him that dress much worse than him, actually. They dress in just T-shirts. You wouldn't know they have 180 ideas.
Wait a minute. So he's your tech support.
No, he is. But he's much more than that.
I actually am tech support, though. But
he gets it done. He's a leader.
Yeah.
He really is. He gets it done. You get a lot of tech people, and you have people that are good with tech, but he gets it done. I said in real estate, you had guys that would draw beautiful renderings of a building, and they'd draw the rendering. It would be great. And you'd say, "Great. When are you starting?" but they were never able to get it built. They couldn't get the financing. They couldn't get the approvals. It would never get done. And then you have other guys who are able to get it done. You know, they could just get it done. I was in real estate. Same thing in this. He gets it done. So when he said that, he said, you know, when you sign these executive orders, a lot of them don't get done, and maybe the most important ones. And he would take that executive order that I'd sign, and he would have those people go to whatever agency it was. When are you doing it? Get it done, get it done. And some guy that maybe didn't want to do it, all of a sudden, he's signing. He just doesn't want to be bothered.
Do a lot of those executive orders have to be codified into law? Do you need the Republican Congress
and
to
they
follow
will be. A lot of them will be, yeah.
They will.
But look, in the meantime, we have 4 years. The beauty is we have 4 years. That's why I like doing it right at the beginning. Because an executive order is great. I mean, the one problem, it's both good and bad. Because when they did all these executive orders, I've canceled most of them. They were terrible. I mean, we're going to go radical left communists. Okay, it was crazy. Their executive orders were so bad. If they ever got them codified, you'd never be able to break them. So the damage that Biden has done to this country, and it's not even Biden, it's the people that circled him in the Oval Office, okay? But the damage they did to this country, intellectual borders, you know, there's so many things, but open borders. He is a phenomenal guy. And Kristi Noem is doing an unbelievable job. And he wanted her. He said, she's so tough. And I said, I don't think of her as that way. You know, she's very nice. He said, no, she's so tough. And she is, I see, with the horses. She's riding the horse. She's great. But the team we have is really unbelievable. But those executive orders, I sign them, and now they get passed on to him and his group and other people, and they're all getting done. We're getting them done.
Let me go back a little bit to your background, because it's beyond impressive. You were the chief engineer, for example. You were an early believer in Tesla. You became the CEO, and then the chief engineer, which was phenomenal. SpaceX, same thing, which is unbelievable. I mean, you were the first private company to send astronauts successfully into space. First private company to send astronauts into orbit.
Yeah.
That's pretty deep.
He's going to go to orbit soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, he's going to go to Mars. He's
Starlink.
At some point.
Huh?
Yeah.
Is it an
But they said, they was asking, like, do you want to die on Mars? And I say, well, yes, but not on impact.
Starlink is in 100 countries. This is going to be hard. I feel like I'm interviewing two brothers here.
You go ahead.
Star Shield, which could be used for national defense.
Yeah, it is already being used for national defense.
Then you have what is it called, Optimus, a part of Tesla.
The robot, yeah.
A robotic arm. Then you have an AI arm. And then you have something that really fascinated me, and it's called Neuralink.
Yes.
You might help the blind to see,
Yes.
people with spinal cord injuries, that they can recover, where in the past, how close is that becoming a success?
Neuralink, we've implanted Neuralink in 3 patients so far who are quadriplegics, and it allows them to directly control their phone and computer just using their mind, just by thinking. It's like, so we call this product telepathy. So you control your computer and phone just by thinking, and it's possible to actually control the computer and phone faster than someone who has working hands. Then the next step would be to add a second Neuralink implant past the point where the neurons damaged, so that somebody can walk again, and so they can have full body functionality restored.
And you like Bobby, right?
I like Bobby, actually. Yeah, I think I supported Bobby Kennedy. I think he's unfairly maligned as someone who is anti-science, but I think he isn't. He just wants to question the science, which is the essence of the science. The scientific method fundamentally is about always questioning the science.
Well, they didn't tell us the truth about COVID,
Right.
That's for sure.
Yes.
And we learned a lot with the Twitter files. And that just then raises a question. You're the richest man in the world. You may not like that part. You're pretty competitive.
You're general there.
I know you a long time. But,
That's why I made
he's on your team.
president.
Well, that's true. We can't top that.
You know, I wanted to find somebody smarter than him. I searched all over. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
You
I couldn't
really tried hard.
I couldn't find anyone smarter, right? So we had it for the country.
But this is the thing.
We settled on this
Well, thanks
country.
for having me.
So,
I'm just trying to be useful
this is
here.
the interesting. This is where we are as a society, and I hate to do this to you, but I'm going to do it anyway. You're doing all of these things. DOGE, nobody at DOGE gets paid a penny, correct?
Well, actually, some people are federal employees.
So, okay,
yeah,
they're helping.
But it's fair to say that the software engineers at DOGE could be earning millions of dollars a year, and instead of earning a small fraction of that as federal employees.
Okay, so just
And they're very committed people.
so
Yes.
you're committed to helping the blind see, people with spinal cord injuries recover.
Yes.
You're committed to getting to Mars. You're committed to rescue. You're going to help rescue next month 2 astronauts that I think were abandoned. They dispute that in an interview.
At the president's request, or instruction, we are accelerating the return of the astronauts, which was postponed kind of to a ridiculous degree.
They got left in space.
They've been there. They were supposed to be there 8 days. They're there almost 300.
Biden.
They were put,
Yeah.
yes, they left up there for political reasons, which is not good.
Okay, it's not good. Now, if I had the weight of the pressure of doing that successfully on my shoulders, I think I'd be, you know. But when we spoke before we did this interview, you were very confident. You think this will be a successful mission.
Well, we don't want to be complacent, but we have brought astronauts back from the space station many times before, and always with success.
Mm-hmm.
So, as long as we're not complacent,
When are you going to launch?
I think it's about 4 weeks to bring them back.
About 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And
We're being extremely cautious. Yeah.
You now have the go-ahead.
Yes. Well, thanks to you.
They didn't have the go-ahead with Biden. He was going to leave him in space. I think he was going to leave him in space.
well, it's like
He
when we
considered
were
it
growing
like-
up, lost in space.
Yeah, he didn't want the publicity. Can you believe it?
Unbelievable. And so
Yeah.
I want to echo something that the president said and then ask an overarching question. So people get hit with Hurricane Helene, they have no communication with the outside world. You come to the rescue, you donated that, I
Yeah,
believe?
yeah.
Okay. You donated to the people
He
in
saved a lot of lives.
in
North Carolina, he saved a lot of lives.
and California after the wildfires?
California, but I mean in North Carolina where they were really in trouble, they had no communication. People were
Nothing.
dying. They were dying of starvation. He saved a lot of lives in North Carolina.
Okay, now you're going to rescue astronauts. And now, and again, you do all of this. I would think liberals would love the fact that you have the biggest electric vehicle company in the world.
Yeah. I mean, I used to be adored by the left. You know?
Not anymore.
Less so these
He
days.
killed that, huh?
I mean, less so.
I really didn't know.
Well, I mean, this whole sort of like, you know, they call it like Trump derangement syndrome. And I don't, you don't realize how real this is until like you can't reason with people. So like I was at a friend's birthday party in LA, just a birthday dinner, and everything was like a nice, quiet dinner, and everyone was behaving normally. And I happened to mention, this is before the election, like a month or 2 before, I happened to mention the president's name. And it was like they got shot with a dart in the jugular that contained like methamphetamine and rabies. Okay?
I've been there. I've been there.
And I'm like, what is wrong? Like, guys, like, you can't have like normal conversation.
Yeah.
And it's like it's like they become completely irrational.
He has no idea that if you're friends with him,
Yeah.
you pay a price. You know, it's like walking in a restaurant in New York and it's like half the room gets daggers and they want to.
No, Idagger's level is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, there was like I had like some invitation because so I got invited to like basically a big sort of damn event like that was, but it received the invitation like the beginning of last year, and I still attended even after I had endorsed President Trump, and I didn't realize how profoundly that would affect how I was received. I mean, I walk into the room and I'm getting just the dirty looks from everyone. Like, if looks could kill, I would have been dead several times over.
But that was not before Trump.
Be like the ashes on the wall.
Before Trump, that never happened, right?
No.
All right, more of my interview from the White House with President Trump and Elon Musk straight ahead.
Oh my gosh, you guys. What up, everybody?
This program is brought to you by Ontario,
Thank you
Canada.
so
Your
much
trusted
for
econ-
watching
At
with me. Let me put it
Ameriprise
on mute.
Financial, we know our
So we are watching live the Hannity and interview with Trump and Elon Musk. Oh my God. Talk about the bromance. I'm just loving it. Oh my God. I'm so glad that like President Trump has allies who are not afraid, who have risked it all and just kind of supporting him and want to do what's best for the country. The fact that these people are siding with people who want to hurt and steal and launder the American people is just amazing to me. Like, I don't see how at this point any person is voting Democrat. The Democrats have decided to die on this hill of no one elected Elon Musk. And oh my God, what is he doing with our information? He owned PayPal. He owns X, aka Twitter. Like, he has a secret service, top secret security clearance. And they're still trying to push this. Oh, why is he doing this? And it's really just smoke and mirrors. This guy, I feel like I'm a good reader of people. And this man loves the country, and it gets to a point, I guess I'm not at that point, but it gets to a point where there's so many more important things than money. Like, this is the richest man in the world sitting next to another billionaire. And at that point, it's like you start to really think about legacy. You start to really think about, okay, how am I going to be remembered? I really want to do something that is impactful and change the world. And I can honestly say DOGE is doing that. Oh my God. Just to think of all the things they've uncovered, you guys. Like, they've uncovered in what is it, 4 weeks? 4 weeks, they have uncovered 66, I think, $billion that the American people have just been throwing out the window. I mean, well, our government or our leaders have just been throwing out the window. Now, mind you, this amount of money, when we have the deficit that we have, the trillions of dollar deficit, and for Democrats to be like, why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? Like, what do you want to happen? Like, you feel so uncovered. Like, when you find out the leaders that you elected are siding with the people who have not just only stole your money, have turned a blind eye while your money got sent other places, who have turned a blind eye while inefficiencies, you can work a bank more efficient than the most important business in the world, which is the United States of America. Like, it just bothers me that Democrats are just kind of acting like, oh, sorry. And then I want to just ask them, like, seriously, President Trump has done this in 3 days. I mean, in 3 weeks. What good has President Trump did? Like, they won't even say, oh, congrats on finding the billions of dollars that was squandered, or congrats on bringing the hostages from Russia home, or congrats on getting some of our allies to pay up. Like, they won't even say, oh, that was really a good negotiating strategy with Colombia. Good job, President Trump. They won't say anything good. So you mean to tell me this man doesn't do anything good? He just doesn't. They are so disingenuous. They are so irrelevant. And I'm glad that places or like Kennedy are having these types of conversations, sitting down with him, sitting down with Elon Musk. The American people, you guys, y'all are smart. Use your gut. Listen to what these people are saying, and you be the judge. You be the judge to see if you kind of feel like these people are shady or they're trying to steal your money. Why would a billionaire try to steal your information? For what? For what purpose? So you guys, I'm going to be watching this. You guys, please hang in there with me, because this is so good listening to them talk. In the beginning, he mentioned that President Trump actually sued X for election interference and for basically, like, kicking him off the platform, which is considered election interference. Now, mind you, this was before Elon Musk, and one could argue this is when Elon Musk decided that he was going to kind of take over X, and I'm glad that he did. But he sued him, and they had to pay President Trump $10 million. And President Trump, in the beginning, they're talking about it laughing. And he's like, yeah, you got a discount. I guess you got a discount because, the relationship they have, because they should have. He should have gotten more. Okay, let me be quiet. Let's listen.
Still doing it, and you partner with him. And this is what you get for it from the Democrats. You get, nobody voted for Elon. Well, nobody voted for any of your cabinet nominees. Okay, people are dying because of DOGE cuts. I'll give you a chance to respond to all that. What DOGE is doing is illegal. Elon Musk is more street vernacular for a male body part. That's a constitutional crisis.
Okay. Why are they reacting like this?
Well, first of all, do you give a flying rip? Or number one, and
well, I guess we must be over the target of doing something right. If like they wouldn't be complaining so much if we weren't doing something useful. I think. What all we're really trying to do here is restore the will of the people through the president. And what we're finding is that there's an unelected bureaucracy. Speaking of unelected, there's a vast federal bureaucracy that is implacably opposed to the president and the cabinet. And you look at, say, DC voting, it's 92% Kamala. Okay, so we're 92% Kamala. That's a lot.
they don't like me here either.
I think about that number a lot. I'm like 92%. That's basically almost everyone.
Yeah.
And so. But how can you, if the will of the president is not implemented, and the president is representative of the people, that means the will of the people is not being implemented, and that means we don't live in a democracy, we live in a bureaucracy. And so I think what we're seeing here is the thrashing of the bureaucracy as we try to restore democracy and the will of the people. Is this making sense? I mean.
No, of course it does. I mean, to me, if you look at our framers and our founders, and you really become a student of history, Mr. President, and we've had conversations both on air and off air. And if we talk about constitutional order or transformational change, nobody can argue that what's happening here is going at the speed of light. But however, what were the principles of our framers and our founders? They wanted limited government, greater freedom for the people. And we'll get to the specific cutting of waste, fraud, and abuse. That is your goal, is it not?
Yeah, and my goal was to get great people. And when you look at what this man has done, I mean, it was something. I knew him a little bit through the White House. Originally, I'd see him around a little bit. I didn't know him before that. And I respected what he did. And he fought hard. You know, he was maybe questioned for a while. He was having some difficulties. It was not easy doing what he did. I mean, how many people have started a car company and made it really successful and made a better car where it's, beating these big companies that's all they do is cars? I mean, it's really amazing the things he's done, but I didn't know it as much then as now. I mean, the fruits have sort of taken hold, but I wanted great people. And he's a great person. He's an amazing person. He's also a caring person. He uses the word care. So they signed a contract in a government agency, and it has 3 months, and the guy leaves that signed the contract, and nobody else is there, and they pay the contract for 10 years.
Yeah.
So the guy is getting checks for years and years and years, and he's telling his family, obviously, maybe it was crooked, maybe he paid to get the contract, or maybe he paid that they didn't terminate it. But, we have contracts that go forever, and they've been going for years. And they're supposed to end in 3 months or 5 months or 2 years or something, and they go forever. So the guy is either crooked, where he knew this was going to happen, or he's crooked because he's getting payments that he knows he shouldn't be getting. But they're finding things like that. They're finding things far worse than that. And they're finding billions, and it will be hundreds of billions of dollars worth of fraud. I say waste and abuse, but fraud, waste, and abuse. And he's doing an amazing job. And he attracts a young, very smart type of person. I call them high IQ individuals, and they are. They're very high IQ and high IQ. And when they go in to see the people and talk to these people, you know, the people think they're going to pull it over. They don't. These guys are smart, and they love the country. You know, there's a certain something. But he uses the word care. So people have to care. Like when I bought Air Force One, I negotiated the price. It was $5.7 billion, and I got them down to $1.7 billion. Now they're not building the plane fast enough. I mean, they're actually in default. Boeing, they're supposed to have been building this thing forever. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
We don't build the way we used to build. You know, we used to build like a ship a day, and now to build a ship is like a big deal. And we're going to get this country back on track. We can do it, but so many things. It takes so long to get things built and get things done. And a lot of it could be something we've been discussing. The regulators go in and they make it impossible to build. They make it very difficult to build anything, whether it's a ship, a plane, or a building, or anything. And some of them do it because they want to show how important they are. Some of them do it maybe because they think they're right. They use the environment to stop progress and to stop things. It's always the environment. It's an environmental problem. It's not an environmental problem at all. But they do a lot of things. And by the way, speaking of that, Lee Zeldin is going to be fantastic in the position. It's so important. He could take 10 years to approve or disapprove something, or he could do it in a month. You know, just as good.
Sure.
And I think you're going to see a fantastic job done by him. He's a tremendous guy.
Newt, you echoed something when I just met you, and it was very similar to what Newt has been saying, that he brought this country to the dance. This is the opportunity to be transformational and to have, I would argue, the most consequential presidency if we really dig down and do something that had never been done before, and that is get rid of this bureaucracy. And I'm going to get to the specifics. You say the same thing. It's not done yet. And what do you mean by that?
I mean, winning the election is really the opportunity to fix the system. It is not fixing the system itself. So it's an opportunity to fix the system and to restore the power of democracy. And, you know, people, like, it's funny how often when these attacks occur, the thing that they're accusing the administration of is what they are guilty of. They're saying that things are being done unconstitutional, but what they are doing is unconstitutional. They are guilty of the crime of which they accuse us.
That's always the first thing they do. He's in violation of the Constitution. They don't even know what they're talking. Well,
it's
they
absurd.
know. It's just a con job. It's a big con job. And they're so bad for the country. It's so dangerous and so bad. And the media is so bad. When I watch MSNBC, which I don't watch much, but you have to watch The Enemy on occasion, the level of arrogance and cheating, and they're just horrible people. These are horrible people.
They tell conspiracy theories.
They literally
And they start
lie.
up with the Constitution. They couldn't care less about the Constitution. CNN, likewise. I mean, I watch them asking questions with, you know, the hatred with the. I said, "Why are you asking the question with such anger? You're asking me a normal question, but you see the bias. The bias is so incredible. Those two are bad. PBS is bad. AP is bad. CBS is terrible. I mean, CBS now, they changed an answer in Kamala. They asked her some questions. She answered them like, you know, a low IQ person, the opposite of him, the absolute opposite. But she gave a horrible answer. They took the entire answer out and they put another answer that she gave 20 minutes later into the as the answer. I've never even heard of that. I thought I heard of it all.
I'm going to, just for the sake of saving time, because I could spend, and I've done this on radio and TV, I can spend an hour finding the outrageous amounts of money being spent abroad like USAID, and I just want to mention a couple, but I'm going to scroll it.
Well, I guess at a high level, I think it's what the president mentioned earlier, which is that in order to save taxpayer money, it comes down to two things: competence and caring. And when the president was shown the outrageous bill for the new Air Force One, and then negotiated it down, if the president had not applied competence and caring, the price would have been 50% higher, literally 50% higher. The president cared, the president was competent, the price was not 50% higher as a result. And so when you add more competence and caring, you get a better deal for the American people.
But we were talking about this yesterday. I could give me thousands of bills. I could pick any one of them.
Exactly.
But I could take all 1,000. And let's say it's a bill for $5,000, just $5,000, and it's done by some bureaucrat. And if he would say, I'll give you 3, I don't want to pay you 5, it's too high, I'll give you 3. But they don't do that. If a guy sends in a bill for $5,000, they pay $5,000. They expect to be cut. Everybody expects to be cut. When you send in a bill, you expect to be cut. They send in the bill higher for the most part. This is true with lawyers, legal fees. When they send in legal fees, I can cut. I wish I had the time. I would save so. But I could cut these bills in half, much better than half. But you offer people a much lower number because they actually put fat. I'm not even saying it's like a way of business. They put more on because they expect to be negotiated. When you send in a bill to the government, there's nobody to negotiate. You send in a bill for $10,000 and they send you a check back for $10,000. If you would call them and said, we'll give you 5. No, I need more than 5. We'll give you 5. I'm not going to pay any more than 5. I will make it 6. No, I'm not going to make it 6. And you'll settle for $5,500. You've just cut the bill almost in half. And it took like 2 minutes. But none of that's done.
Don't call that the art of the deal?
But that's caring. No, it's not even the art of the deal. It's caring. He uses the word, it's caring.
Yeah.
It's a certain competence, but I think it's more caring than competence.
If you add either ingredient, either competence or caring, you'll get a better outcome. But it stands to reason that if you don't have competence, you don't have caring, you're going to get a terrible deal. And the problem is that the American taxpayers have been getting a terrible deal because look at the last administration. Can any reasonable person say that the last administration was either competent or caring?
No.
But they lied to us and said that Joe didn't have a cognitive decline.
They fully lied.
They said the borders were closed. They said that the borders were secure.
They lied
said that,
so bad.
They said Obamacare would save.
They flat out lied.
It flat out
That's
lied.
insane.
Up next, more of my exclusive interview with President Trump and Elon Musk as Hannity continues from the Trump White House.
Oh my gosh, you guys. So thank you for watching. Thank you for my Twitter folks, my YouTube people. I love y'all. Chat me out in the comments. So listening to this whole Hannity interview is just amazing. Hold on, let me put it on mute. It's just amazing to just see them in this kind of space. Well, I do want to point out what he said about government spending and Air Force One. So basically, President Trump, because he's the president, he gets to build his own Air Force One. And Boeing had sent over a bill for like this enormous amount of money. And President Trump was like, I'm not paying that money. But they are so used to presidents just kind of paying it because it's not their money. It's taxpayer dollars, right? And so President Trump was like, I'm not paying you that. Let's say it's $20 million. President Trump said, I'm not paying you that. That's way too much money. And so they sent the bill back and he was like, nope, not paying it. So he was negotiating it. And people were like, saying that he is cheap and he's this and he's that and he's trying to undercut people. But no, this is American taxpayer dollars. And I bring that up to say they are trying to say that the people who are in government power, that have the power to spend American taxpayer dollars, they don't care or they're not competent. Like either one. Like either they don't know. So when Boeing sends over a $20 million bill for Air Force One, they just say, oh, let me pay it. Or they don't even care. Like meaning a Google search of how much should I pay, even if you don't know, will fix it. And so these men are talking about how the government has been ran for so long, like just sloppily, like they don't even care at all. And so people, one of the things that he said, winning the election, because they're basically saying that President Trump is going to fix it. He said, winning the election is not fixing it. He said that was part of what we have to do. It gave us the opportunity to fix it. And President Trump said he has to get in there fast because he's already seen how these people work. You have to get in there because they're going to start trying the games, the Russia hoax, the media, all these things that they did in the last administration while President Trump was just trying to figure out what he was doing. So I really appreciated Elon Musk. He also said that they're accusing him of doing the things that they're doing. They're stealing money. They're, betraying the trust of the American people. Sean Hannity in the first part also asked him, and I wrote it down, asked him about his government contracts, and he was being investigated. And a lot of people are saying, "Oh, Elon Musk was being investigated." Yeah, he wasn't fairly being investigated. Make no mistake about it. He's only being investigated because his political affiliation to Donald J. Trump. Anybody that had any kind of allegiance or loyalty to him has been investigated. That's a fact. So they were unfairly investigating his government contracts. And let's talk about what some of the government contracts was. We all know that he's building electric cars to build efficiency for the American people and the world, right? To give the people a different option besides gasoline. So electric cars. Everybody loves Teslas. They've worked. People are enjoying them. Buy them, right? So in order to incentivize him to make more efficient cars, he gets a government contract. He also gets another government contract for doing something called Neuralink. I had no idea that he is creating medical solutions that help paraplegics utilize their limbs when they can't use them. So it's something that connects to their brain, and they can think about picking up their phone, and their robotic hand picks up the phone. First of all, oh my gosh, that's amazing technology that's happening, and I've seen it happening in other places. But to see that he's doing that, like to see that he's even doing that. And then they say, "Oh, well, what government contracts does Elon have?" That's a government contract I'll pay for. What I'm not going to pay for is Afghanistan sex change surgeries, okay? That's what I'm not going to pay. I'm not going to pay for gas stations in other countries. I'll pay for medical, like miracles, essentially. Starlink. Yes, Matt, Starlink. He even said that they're trying to go on the moon to or Mars. Like he's trying to go to Mars. They're trying to save the astronauts from that were left up there with the Biden administration. All these amazing things that he's trying to do, and people are questioning him and trying to put him in the same category as USAID, who has literally betrayed the American taxpayer. It's crazy. Anyway, it's getting ready to come back up. But y'all, like this interview is so good. I'm glad we're getting to see them sitting down, see them candid. Let's continue to watch.
Swamp where for years far-left bureaucrats burned through your hard-earned tax dollars on woke political causes, Green New Dealism, transgenderism, and, even anti-American propaganda. Those days are now over. More of my interview with President Trump and Elon Musk. As I scroll this information, and I'll scroll a lot more than I'll mention to both of you, and this is the cost savings. I want people at home to understand this part. Average American makes $66,000 a year.
Yeah.
Okay? We have $37 trillion in national debt.
Yeah.
Now, all the money I'm about to mention and what we're going to scroll on our screen, and all of this is going to foreign countries. It is not being spent here in America for better schools, law and order.
I think the average taxpaying American should be mad as hell.
Yes.
Because their tax money is being thoroughly spent.
All right, let me go to the second question first. I want to know, because people like Joni Ernst and
Joni Ernst has been
has
tried for a long time, and she's actually got a lot of good data. Senator Ernst has been really helpful, actually.
Okay, but they actually hide what the real purpose of the spending is.
Sure.
In other words, this is a question. How did you decipher? It will say humanitarian blah, blah, blah in Serbia or Afghanistan. We even give money to China, for crying out loud, which I think is nuts.
Or give money to the Taliban.
Put money to the Taliban.
Like a lot.
All right, so
So like for what?
But they,
I want to see the pictures of what they did.
but they try to obscure it, but then you got to the bottom line, which is what I'm now scrolling on the screen,
Yes.
and that is 20 million on a Sesame Street show in Iraq, 56 million to boost tourism in Tunisia and Egypt, 40 million to build schools in Jordan, 11 million to tell the Vietnamese to stop burning trash, 45 million for DEI scholarships in Burma, 520 million for consultant-driven ESG investments in Africa, DEI programs in Serbia. The president's favorite. I'm sure you love that taxpayer money was spent on a DEI musical in Ireland, or a transgender opera in Colombia, or a transgender.
It sounds like how can these things be real? But this is actually what was done.
We
It
don't
sounds
hate
like
the
a comedy
mainstream
sketch.
media.
20 pages.
It's like, right. It's not. It's a list a mile long.
If you had to put a number on it, how much do you think you've identified waste, fraud, abuse, corruption at this point? And again, we're going to be scrolling this throughout the program.
Well, the overall goal is to try to get $1 trillion out of the deficit. And if the deficit is not brought under control, America will go bankrupt. This is a very important thing for people to understand. A country is no different from an individual in that if an individual overspends, an individual can go bankrupt, and so can a country. And the massive waste, fraud, and abuse that has been going on, which is leading to a $2 trillion a year deficit. That's what the president was handed on Jan 20th, a $2 trillion deficit. It's insane.
For this fiscal year.
Yeah, we inherited it.
Yeah.
And inflation is back. I'm only here for 2.5 weeks.
That was January.
Inflation
You were there
is
for a
back.
week.
No, think of it. Inflation's back, and they said, "Oh, Trump." In fact, I had nothing to do with it. These people have run the country. They spent money like nobody's ever spent. They were given $9 trillion to throw out the window. $9 trillion, and they spent it on the Green New Scam. I call it. It's the greatest scam in the history of the country. One of them. We have a lot of them, I guess, but one of them. Dollar-wise, probably.
DEI and wokeism and transgenderism.
Well, that's all part of it. Yeah.
And LGBTQ+.
Yeah.
By the way,
We don't
not in
hate the
America,
mainstream
other
media,
countries,
no.
not here.
You know, the amazing thing is when you see like the teaching of DEI, $9 million. How do you spend $9 million to teach? No matter what it is, you could teach
Exactly.
physics.
Totally.
You could go to MIT for a
It's
lot less.
expensive.
Yeah, the teaching of
Expensive,
DEI.
yes.
How much do you believe, Elon, you've identified in waste, fraud, abuse, corruption now, and how much do you anticipate you will?
Sure. Well, I think
1%. No, because it's so massive. This is
Yeah,
huge
exactly.
money.
So what we
Huge
found out
money.
was 1%.
we're just got
As
started.
good as they are, they're not going to find some contract that was crooked, crooked as hell. And, I mean, there's going to be so much that isn't found. But what is found, I think he's going to find $1 trillion.
Yeah, I think so.
But I think it's a very small percentage compared to what it is.
Let me go to an area that I think is key, and you talked about this in recent interviews, and that is we don't need a Department of Education, okay? And what some people are trying to do is stoke fears that, oh my gosh, my kid's not going to get the money for education, or grandma's Social Security and Medicare. This was a big promise of yours on the campaign trail.
I'm so good.
So
Such a good
I
press.
really want to give you both an opportunity to assure the American people you will keep, that money will be allocated for students, but with higher standards. For example, I would assume associated with monies given or
Just because
vouchers.
so much, and then Elon goes, but look, Social Security won't be touched. Other than
Won't be
this
touched.
fraud or something, we're going to find it's going to be strengthened, but won't be touched. Medicare, Medicaid, none of that stuff is going to be touched.
Strengthened.
Nothing.
You
I want
don't
to
have to. Now, if there are illegal migrants in the system, we're going to get them out of the system and all of that fraud. But it's not going to be touched. School. I want to bring school back to the states so that Iowa, Indiana, all these places, Idaho, New Hampshire, there's so many places, the states, I figure 35 really run well. And right now it's Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, China, can you imagine, has top schools. We're last. So they have a list of 40 countries. We're number 40. Usually we're 38, 39. The last time we were number 40. And what I say is you got to give it back. So it doesn't work. I'll tell you what we're number one in, cost per pupil. We spend more money than any other country by far. It's not even close per pupil. Okay, so we know it doesn't work. So we spend the most and we have the worst, right? The worst result.
It doesn't work.
When we give that back to Indiana, when we give that back to Iowa and back to a lot of the states that run well, they run well. There's a lot of them, 35, 37, 38. Now you're going to have 10 laggards, but you're going to have 5 real laggards, but that's going to be okay. Take New York. You give it to Westchester County. You give it to Suffolk County. You give it to upstate New York. And you give it to Manhattan. But you give it to 4 or 5 subsections. Same thing in California. Los Angeles is going to be a problem, but you're going to give it to places that run well. We can change education. Now, school choice is important, but that will get taken care of automatically. We want to bring education back to the states. You will spend half the number, and I'm not even doing this. I'm not even doing this to save, but you will. It costs you much less money. You get a much better education. If you go to some of these states, you'll be the equivalent of Norway, Sweden, Denmark, places that really have a good school system. You'll have those places will be the equivalent, and your overall numbers will get so much better.
Do you want standards associated?
The only thing I want to do from Washington, D.C. is make sure they're teaching English, reading, writing,
Math,
and
science.
arithmetic.
Science?
Okay, a little science.
Might help.
You know,
Computers.
you're not going to have much of a problem with that, but that's it.
So your task now, and I pray to God this is successful. I really do. I wish you Godspeed. Godspeed, John Glenn.
It's going to be, by the way. I really believe
But there are
because the country's
legitimate
going to do
areas.
well beside this. This is cutting. We're only talking about cutting. We're also going to make a lot of money. We're taking in so much.
What about his business? What if there is a
Then we won't let
contract he would otherwise
let him
get?
do it. If he's got a conflict. I mean, look, he's in certain areas. I mean, I see this morning, I didn't know, but I said, do the right thing, where they're cutting way back on the electric vehicle subsidies.
Yes.
They're cutting back. Not only cutting back.
Hurt you.
Correct.
Yeah. Now,
You don't care.
I will tell you,
Well,
he's probably not that happy with it, but that would have been one thing he would have come to me and say, listen, you got to do me a favor. This is crazy. But this was in the tax bill. They're cutting back on the subsidies. I wasn't involved in it. I said, do what's right, and they're coming up with a tax bill. It's just preliminary. But I mean, if he were involved, wouldn't you think he'd probably do that? Now, maybe he does better if you cut back on the subsidies. Who knows? Because he figures he does think differently. He thinks he has a better product, and as long as he has a level playing field, he doesn't care what you do, which is he's told me that.
yeah. I mean, I haven't asked the president for anything ever.
And if it comes up, how will you handle it?
Well,
He won't be involved.
yeah, I'll recuse myself if it is.
If there's a conflict, he won't be involved.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want that, and he won't want it.
Right, and also I'm getting a sort of a daily proctology exam here. You know, it's not like I'll be getting away from something in the dead of night.
Welcome to D.C. If you want a friend, get a dog.
Well, I do have a dog, but I also have friends. My dog loves me, poor little creature.
You know the truth with
I need to
this?
bring him to D.C.
I know every businessman. I know the good ones, the bad ones, the smart ones, the lucky ones. I know them. This guy's he's a brilliant guy. He's a great guy. He's got tremendous imagination and scientific imagination, far beyond, you keep talking about a technologist and all, but you're much more than a technologist. You are that. But he's also a good person. He's a very good person.
Yeah.
And he wants to see the country do well. And I know a lot of great business people, really great business people, but they're not really, in some cases, very good people. And I know people that would try and take advantage of the situation. This guy's somebody that really cares for the country, and I saw that very early on. I saw it really a long time ago when I got to know him. He's a very different kind of a character. That's why, who loves him? Young people that are very smart and that love the country.
Up next, more from the White House as we continue from Washington, D.C.
Oh my God. Okay. You guys, this is so good. Oh my God. Thank you for watching. If you're just joining, oh my God. So I loved this part as he was speaking, and Hannity's questions were really good. I get a lot of people that are coming to me saying, well, he's going to get rid of the Department of Education, or he's going to get rid of Social Security, and your grandma is not getting Social Security. No, you guys. And I'm going to say this because I understand what you're going through, because the media is flat out lying to you. So I'm not saying this in a way where I think that you're like silly or stupid. I've been where you are. And I understand that when very smart people are coming at you and then you're living your life, you don't have time to kind of analyze it. You just assume that people are telling you the truth. I am asking that you assume that everything that the mainstream media is telling you now is a lie. They have really become the enemy to the people. Oh, hey, Opinionation. What's up? She said new sub. Hey, girl. So I say that to say, you guys, President Trump just laid it out, and they're going to try to find a way to get around it. What he's saying is that he's going to get rid of all this Department of Education overhead that is not doing anything but duplicating either really, really bad things or really, really good things. So some states do it well. We have 30 states is what he was saying, and they do school very well. They can compete with some of the best countries. They have great teachers. Kids are reading and writing and doing math on grade level. The kids are happy. They're learning. It's a healthy environment. But then the Department of Education comes and takes money to reinforce what? Right? So there's some states, Maryland, I'm here in Maryland, that don't do it well. And he said those states are probably going to be the ones that are struggling and probably need some reinforcement. But right now, the Department of Education isn't doing anything because we're last in the nation and we spend more per pupil when it comes to reading, right? I mean, last in the 40 countries that are considered first world countries, we're last in reading, writing, arithmetic, science, and all of that. Our children are rated last, but we spend more per pupil. And he was like, it's not working. And they're just taking your tax dollars and taking your money, and it's not working. And what he wants to do is give it to the states so we can start to implement things like school choice. And he also said, we're going to have more money. You don't understand. We're taking in billions of dollars in tariffs. We're taking billions of dollars in trade negotiations. And then we're going to start to be more efficient. And then we're going to stop the government waste. This is all going to equate to more money so we can do more. And I was so glad that he said that. No one is trying to cut Social Security. Like he said, we are trying to get rid of people being paid Social Security that didn't earn it. We are trying to get rid of the people who are over 110 years old or 150 years old still collecting checks. We're trying to get rid of the fraud and the abuse. And if we get rid of the fraud and abuse, then it'll be there for your grandparents to collect. Like, it'll be there. But right now, the rate in which Social Security was going, we were going to be out of money, and the people who actually paid into it weren't going to get it. And I don't understand why people are fighting that. That's weird, y'all. And you need to ask your local officials or your Democrat friends, like, why are you fighting this? Opinionation, yes, the teacher unions are, she said the teacher unions are the problem, honestly. And that's true. The teacher unions have got to do better. They have got to stop looking at the educational system as an employment system. It is not an employment system. I love our teachers, and we want to do right by our teachers, and we want to pay them well, and we want them to do a good job, and we want to support them. It is a thankless job. It is a thankless job. People just drop their little kids off, and you are supposed to just put everything in their head. So we love the teachers. However, make no mistake about it, it is an education system. And when it's not working, our main focus has to be on educating the children and not employing teachers. That is not, our job is not to employ teachers. Okay, let's continue to watch.
There's show possible. Please set your DVR so you never, ever, ever miss an episode of Hannity. In the meantime, let your heart be troubled. Guess what? Greg Gutfeld is standing by to put a smile on your face.
So he just finished up. Oh my gosh. That was good, Hannity. Oh my gosh, that was so good. You guys, thank you for watching that with me. I thought that was awesome. Hey, fellow truth teller. Hey. Yeah, so I was so glad that he was able to clear it up, because the mainstream media is getting everybody afraid, saying things like, "Oh, Elon Musk is going to get your hands off of the Social Security." Nobody wants to take care of the Social Security. Nobody wants to take away the Social Security. The only people that were trying to take away the Social Security were the incompetent people like Nikki Haley, who didn't know to fix it. Just as Elon Musk said, he said, winning the presidency was only the opportunity to fix the government and what was going on. But if you don't have competent people and you don't have people that know how to fix it, then you would have ended up with the Nikki Haley that says, "Oh, we need to increase the age of Social Security." No, ma'am, we don't need to increase the age of Social Security. We need to stop the people who are 150 years old collecting checks. That's the easy part. A lot of this was easy fixes that DOGE was saying. DOGE said a lot of the payments that U.S. aid was making, it didn't even have category codes. You have no clue where this stuff is going. Or Social Security. It didn't have category codes. You have no clue who's going. You don't know where the check is, who's getting paid, who's still living, who's not living. Like, you guys, yes, when you are wasting like that, then absolutely your grandmother who paid into Social Security all her life it's not going to be there for her, because it's going to illegal migrants and things that it shouldn't be going to. I love that interview, you guys. I love their little bromance that they got going on. I love that Elon Musk, like they complimented each other for being a good person. He even vouched, he said, "I have been around President Trump now for a while." And he was like, "I haven't seen him do anything like evil or anything rude or anything like he's a fight back. Like he gonna fight you back. If you're rude to him, I'm sorry, he's from New York. I get it. I'm from New York. I'm like that too. If you're rude to me, I have to resist the urge of like, I'm gonna come at you." And so that's just President Trump. That's just who he is. That's his personality. But as far as being evil, he's not that. And I like that Elon Musk and Hannity kind of uplifted him a little bit. He also let the American people know that Elon Musk is just a good person. As I was stating, you guys, before, if you're just dropping in, like when you get to be the richest person in the world, like chasing money and fame, like that, that doesn't feel good. So you have to find things that feel good. And what feels good is making a difference in the lives of people and making like a change, being able to say, "I saved Social Security for the American taxpayer. I was able to help create the greatest economy." That's what President Trump says. Like, President Trump is almost 80, you guys. Like, he's a billionaire. You can't entice these people with money. You can't entice them with power. He was probably the most powerful New Yorker that probably ever lived, okay? Like, seriously. You can't entice him with that. What you can do is sit back and watch him live out his legacy for his children. And I love that, y'all. We are so blessed. I saw Andrew Tate actually talk about it. He said, "Can the people who don't want to be in America leave, and we'll trade you, because we would love to have a president that just cares about us." Opinion Nation say he's gangster and so is Putin. And he is. He just is. I'm sorry you don't like it. Just look at Chicago. They use Jews for political campaign of the new. Oh man, yeah, it's so sad, right? What Opinion Nation is saying is the teachers union use the union dues for political campaigns. I know several unions that do that, and that's not what your campaigns. That's not what unions are supposed to be doing. It's really sad that this stuff is now coming out, and it could have come out so long ago if we just had what Elon Musk was talking about, people who cared and people who were competent. Like caring and competence. Who knew that went a long way? Exactly, Matt. Only for the Democrats. Exactly. They were only paying for Democratic elections. Democrat elections because I guess those are the people that haven't started a business, who are not trying to make rockets and put rockets on the moon and on Mars. So when you haven't created anything, then you have to steal. I don't understand the people who are accusing the man who is adding value and creating value of stealing. He literally is trying to create internet for everyone. He's trying to create unlimited energy sources for everyone. He's trying to create medicine that has, the capabilities of helping people who were told they would never walk again. And y'all are accusing him of stealing. Stealing what? Somebody, like, if you create value for people, then you never have to work again. If you create value for people, the money is going to come. I would pay my tax dollars for Neuralink. It's just so crazy to me, you guys. Oh, my God. So, for goodness sake, yeah, he's trying to send us to Mars. Exactly, Matt. Oh, my God. So, let's talk about you know what I wanted to tell y'all, and it was so good. So Elon Musk, and they are not only trying to make a difference like government wise, but they're also trying to make a difference like cultural wise. If you notice in the Democrat Party, unless Joe Biden is sniffing somebody else's children, they never have like small children around. Like children are little ploys that they can kind of, put up like Kamala Harris with her nieces. Ma'am, you're an aunt. I'm sorry, you're not a mother, and you're not a grandmother. You're an aunt. It's different. I'm sorry. Anybody who's an aunt, I love y'all. I love aunts. I was an aunt, but an aunt is not a mom. I'm sorry. Aunt's not a mom. Aunt is an aunt. I don't. Is that wrong? Anywho, Elon Musk is bringing around his kid X everywhere, little X everywhere. And I believe it's causing people to be like, oh, kids are cute. And maybe wanting to have more children. Like, that's what we want. And then President Trump bought his granddaughter to Daytona 500, like changing the culture of, oh, we want to bring kids around. Kids are awesome. Kids are sweet. Kids are fun. You can do the most important job in the world and have your kids around. I love that he's doing that. And hopefully the culture we can have a culture that is not trying to teach kids about sex. Can we stop? Can we teach kids about rockets? Can we teach kids about the government? Can we teach kids about like how the world runs? Can we teach them economics and stop trying to teach them about sex? It's weird. Can I get an amen? Like, I love that they're bringing their kids around to do something other than pet the drag queen. Bringing the kids around to actually experience life and business. You remember Take Your Kid to Work Day before the whole drag queen story hour? Like, can we just go back? Can we go back to Take Your Kid to Work Day? Can we do that? Anywho, you guys. Oh my gosh. So, go back, watch that Hannity interview. It was amazing. Um, go and look at the spending that DOGE has found, y'all. We don't hate the government enough. We don't hate we we do not hate the mainstream media enough. The fact that they are fighting and defending this is the hill that they're willing to die on, y'all. This right here. This is the hill. While we get audited, while we get bullied. And I saw Steven Crowder say something, and I had never thought about this. We get told how bad our country is because we don't have free health care for its citizens. How are we going to pay for free health care when we're paying for sex changes in Guatemala? All these countries sit on their high horse like Canada. Love Canada. They're our neighbors. Take our money. We subsidize Canada by the billions, all for them to look us in our face with their snooty Canadian accent and say, "Oh, well, we have free health care here." Well, we could get some free health care too if Canada was subsidizing the USA. If a country, can we get some subsidies? Can somebody subsidize us? I got a few places and a few family members that can use some subsidies. I live outside of Baltimore. I live in Maryland. I have a few of my family members right down the street that can use some subsidies. But instead, they're taking our tax dollars and paying other people while the other people look at and tell us how bad we are, how racist we are, how racist of a country we are. Like, screw y'all. Pay for your own defense. And that's why I love President Trump. Pay for your own defense. Pay for your own health care. And then we'll see who has the better system when we cut off all our checks that we're sending to y'all. These people do not respect the American people at all. Our hard work, our work ethic. They think that we're just all just beneath them. And I denounce that. I denounce that with a passion. Anywho, you guys, thanks for watching this with me. I want to talk about Eric Adams, y'all. Oh my God. Eric, y'all remember, hold on, I'm going to pull this up. Y'all might, if y'all have been with me since day one, y'all might remember me. Hold on.
Thanks, Morgan. Mayor Adams promising to use an executive order to allow ICE agents into Rikers to target criminals is getting pushback by some New Yorkers, but not by everyone. Meantime, Tom Homan says he'll be back in New York if the mayor's commitment to work with ICE doesn't play out.
Mayor Adams and border czar Tom Homan, one day after the two sat down together and made a deal allowing ICE to go into Rikers Island, spoke to Fox and Friends on Fox News.
If he doesn't come through, I'll be back in New York City, and we won't be sitting on the couch. I'll be in his office, up his butt, saying, where the hell is the agreement we came to? So
I want ICE to deliver. And I want ICE to deliver. We're going to deliver for the safety of the people of this city.
New York City sanctuary status provides certain protections, while Homan made it clear he doesn't agree with sanctuary jurisdictions at all.
I think sanctuary is a sanctuary of criminals. We walked out of the meeting yesterday, and getting back to Rikers Island is a game changer.
Adams did offer these details on his position.
The sanctuary city has stated that if you're in this city and you're paying taxes, you should have access to the services. What I asked the city council to do change the bill that was already in place and modify it that if you are committing a crime, that we should be able to collaborate with ICE.
There was outrage at City Hall today, protesters reacting in part to the Rikers Island deal, accusing Mayor Adams of recent moves which prove he's turned his back on New Yorkers.
Our mayor has given its back on us, and he wants to sell New York to Trump. How embarrassed was I as a New Yorker when I watched him sit on that couch with Holman and hear Holman say to him, if you do not deliver, I will be back in your office and up your butt.
Years ago, former Mayor Bill de Blasio signed bills that were...
I need these people out of our country. Like, the audacity of these people to defend keeping people who have broken our laws in our country. And then say that Mayor Adams sold out. No, you sold out. He is the mayor, and he is supposed to protect the citizens of his city. And that means working with whomever and sitting on whatever couch. I'm sorry you don't like the Fox News couch. And Fox News is racist. Don't nobody care about that. Sis, this ain't got nothing to do with race. This ain't got nothing to do with color. That ain't got nothing to do with creed. It ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Did you come to our country illegally and act the fool? That's the question. If you act the fool, then you're probably in Rikers Island, and we are going to deport you. We're going to deport you. What questions do you need? What questions do you need to have? What questions after that? And then you have people protesting that? Protesting getting violent criminals or even regular criminals or even anything. Let's say you're a drug dealer. You selling drugs and you're an illegal alien. Why are you coming to our country acting the fool? We said we gonna send you back. We could do like Russia. Russia, you go over to Russia and you have medical marijuana, you get 40 years. We can do that. We can keep them here. But we're not going to do that. We're not going to pay for them. We're not going to let them be in our jail cells and crowd our prisons. No, go back to your country because you came over here acting a fool. Somebody said, I love it when sis turns up. I mean, these people are crazy. In our country, telling us what to do, protesting, saying that the mayor should leave violent criminals there and he shouldn't cooperate with ICE. Girl, bye, sis, have several seats.
Reduced New York City's cooperation with ICE, and it included an end to ICE's presence at Rikers. Today, the Correction Officers Benevolent Association president had this to say.
ICE is no stranger to us. They were involved in our system probably from 2003 to about 2015. Now they'll be working closely with our intelligence agency in the department CIB unit. In task force, we haven't been briefed on the full scope of how things are going to be, but we welcome them.
Mayor Adams has said publicly many times that he supports a rollback in sanctuary laws. Bianca, Steve, there could be more to come, though, because Border Star Tom Homan said today that he and the mayor are working on some other things. No word on what those things are. Back to you.
All right, we'll see what happens. Stephanie, thank you so much.
Mayor Adams, everybody's trying to kind of like attack him and say that he's trying to keep himself out of hot water. Well, one could argue that he's not trying to keep himself out of hot water. He has realized how evil the Democratic Party is. If you've been watching me, this is what I was going to say before. If you've been watching me, I told Mayor Adams a while ago that he needs to get from under those evil people. They have betrayed him just because he told the truth. And you're not allowed to tell the truth as a Democrat. You're not. You have to just suck it up and just be with the party. And whatever the party says, you have to go along with it, even when it's wrong and it's a detriment to everything that you value or love. It doesn't matter. There are mothers in the Democrat Party that are fighting to castrate little boys and little girls. Or cut little girls' breasts off. Like, why? Because the Democrat Party said so, and their allegiance requires it. So when Mayor Adams came out and Mayor Adams said, hey, this city is being overrun, we need some help from the federal government. They made him public enemy number one, started investigating him, and started a political persecution, a political witch hunt. This is a man that has served New York City as a police officer. Like, he is a back the blue man. Like, he has lived a upfront life. And like they did with President Trump and so many others, they started to politically persecute him just because he broke the rules. So now he has decided, okay, I have to fend for myself. And what does that mean? I have to just do what I know I need to do for my city. And I believe that he's doing the right thing for his city by asking the city council not to remove the sanctuary city laws per se, which I think they need to go. I personally think they need to go. But he is asking that they roll back the part about even if they have committed a crime, or like if they've committed a crime, they're no longer eligible for any of the benefits of the sanctuary city. That's all he's asking. And I think that that's fair. I don't believe in sanctuary cities. I don't believe that illegal aliens, people who are here undocumented, who are here illegally, I don't believe that they should get anything. That's my personal beliefs. However, I do understand that he has a very migrant constituency. So I get it. These people take it personal. However, I do believe that that he's doing the right thing. He's not doing it like to somehow get out of some lawsuit. And that's what they're trying to make it seem. But he's not do that. Y'all, don't believe the hype. These people are politically persecuting people. Shonda said, CNN reporter just asked Steve if illegal migrants will go to jail if they file for child tax credit. He said he 100% they will be prosecuted and deported. Yes. It says he 100% back. They have done to him like they did President Trump. Absolutely. Yes, Shonda, you're exactly right. And Matt said Democrats don't like debates. Absolutely. They don't. You're not allowed to, you have to toe the line and you have to behave on the Democrat plantation. Trust me, I was on it before. And you have to be able to speak the truth, you guys. And unfortunately, Mayor Adams was just speaking the truth when he was saying the migrants were taking over and he needed help from the federal government. And because he did that, they completely abandoned him. And not only did they abandon him, they started a political witch hunt against him. And now they're trying to get him removed, saying that he's cooperating with ICE in order to stay out of jail, which is just not true. And everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. It's just, you guys, like, these people lie so bad. They lie so bad. And we just have to push against the lies. Anywho, you guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I just appreciate you. We are going to keep watching this whole Eric Adams thing. We're going to talk a lot about this on my show on Thursdays and Sundays with KJ from Poppin' Politics. You guys, if you are not subscribed, please subscribe to Christian Conservative, KJCJ Christian Conservative on YouTube. You guys, we talk about this stuff from a biblical perspective. I did not bring up the fact that Elon Musk got a new baby mama. Baby number 13, he is taking a whole new meaning to the be fruitful and multiply thing. Elon Musk he feels like he's doing God's work. We're going to talk about that on Thursday, you guys. Please follow KJCJ, Christian Conservative. I'm super excited about that show. You guys, I love you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for allowing me to talk to you. Thank you for listening to my opinion. Thank you for watching me go off. So, on deck, he said, I love it when sis turn up. Yes, we gotta turn up on these people. They just be lying. Anywho, you guys, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, peace.